My fiancé has been ignoring me for 5 days right before our engagement party and refused to see me. How do I contact him? Me and my fiancé have been dating for 3 years now, and have had a pretty great relationship overall. We got engaged this April, right after he got an amazing promotion he'd been wanting for months. Both of our friends and families have been so happy for us, and we've just been in an amazing place, up until last week. Last Sunday, he had his work friends over for dinner, and I was helping him the entire afternoon to prep the meals and kitchen to have his guests over. Right before his friends got to our house, he went up to our room to take a shower and I offered to do the last preparations in the living room. His phone started buzzing excessively, and since I thought his friends might have gotten here earlier, I decided to check what it was. His friend group chat was sending many texts asking if the bitch would be there for the dinner or if they could invite the usual office girls. I got confused and worried, so I decided to snoop through the texts. What I saw was absolutely horrifying, and I still can't explain everything that I felt. My fiancé and his friends had been making fun of me for months. I have to admit I've gained weight ever since our engagement, but nothing excessive or major changes. Pictures of animals, and exaggerated drawings of me and my body were sent in the GC constantly, with my own fiancé laughing and joking along with them. I also saw pictures of him and his friends during his weekend work trips in strip clubs, with other women and just random bars. After seeing all that, I stormed up to our room and started screaming at him while he was in the shower. I went back into our room with his phone still and continued to go through it all. He came after me with a towel wrapped around his body, ripped his phone from my hands and started accusing me of invading his privacy and over-exaggerating the situation. He brought up how busy I've been with my job and how little attention I've been giving to him or my appearance. He berated me about looking through his personal messages and how I basically forced him to find other partners for intimacy since I've been practically neglecting him. He got dressed, went to his car and drove away that same night. I tried calling him and getting in contact with him to know where he was. I ended up having to clean up our house that night, and was only able to see him at a restaurant with his co-workers and some random girls through his friend's Insta story. I'm pretty sure he blocked me on most social media. It's been 5 days now and he's still sleeping at other people's houses and hasn't answered any of my texts. Please someone help me. I tried calling his mom but she has no idea of what's going on and I don't have the heart to tell her. Comment. He sounds like an actual demon. Do not marry this man. He quite literally hates you. Even literal serial killers treat their wives better than this. Chances are, he is planning to leave you at the altar anyways. Would you want your daughter to marry a man like this? Exactly. Leave this clown. I would even go as far as to change the locks on your house/apartment and take all his stuff and put it by the dumpster. If you need help with rent, advertise for a roommate on Facebook/Craigslist until your lease is up or until you sell the house. He is literally a demon. Wouldn't be surprised if he also fantasizes regularly about murdering you in your literal sleep. He must hate you from the bottom of his heart to let his friends say those things and to also say them as well and cheat on you like that. Grow a spine. Leave. I'm sorry this happened to you. You should prepare to end things with him immediately and start eviction proceedings. This is much better than a divorce. It's over. Box up his stuff and your last communication with him should be when he picks it up. Otherwise, tell him it's going to charity or the trash in 30 days. Why do you want to? He has been making fun of you, and cheating, and is using Darvo to try and act like you made him do those things. He's awful. Don't chase after him. Let him go. I think your relationship is over. This sucks. He is heartless and cruel. I can't believe he and his friends did that. It is terrible. I can't even imagine how you feel. You might want to call the party off so you don't have to make excuses later. This guy is a POS. Next story 2. I don't feel loved by my boyfriend anymore. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 2 years, and the level of affection from him has dropped significantly. When he was pursuing me, he was so sweet with me and made me feel so loved, but now we rarely kiss or hug. We rarely even hold hands. He used to call me cute, beautiful, etc., and pet names all the time, but it's very rare nowadays. The last time was because I was telling him about how ugly I feel, and even then, he said it in a roundabout way: you look better than a lot of people. You're lucky to look how you do. It feels weird when other people tell me I look good, but my own boyfriend won't. I just want to hear it from him, for him to flirt with me like how he did in the beginning. I've spoken to him about it though, and he says he feels shy and uncomfortable saying/doing things like that. I don't want to push his boundaries, so I try to be understanding, to not touch him in public because he doesn't like PDA, to not overthink when I put extra effort into my appearance for him and he doesn't say a word, etc. It feels like such a sudden shift from the beginning when he had no issues doing it. It just feels like he has lost some feelings for me. This compounded with the fact that he has been pushing me to go to the gym, liking his female co-workers' photos on Instagram but not mine, and being short-tempered with me has been making me feel terrible about myself. I've spoken to him about all of those things. He says his co-workers are just friends and that he doesn't interact with my posts because I post pictures of random things and not myself, which is, alright. Fine. He stopped liking their photos after I brought it up too, so I am trying to not dwell on it. He has been helping me get started at the gym, which I really appreciate, but he keeps pushing me to go. I admit I'm not very consistent, but I try to go whenever I have someone to go with since I feel shy going alone. He's been pushing me to go because I gained weight recently, but I've only gone from 105 to 115 pounds, so I'm not huge. I've expressed that I feel insecure wearing some of my more revealing clothes now, but he calls me his big girl and pinches my stomach fat a lot. I know I'm being overly sensitive, but it makes me feel bad because he doesn't express his attraction for me anymore. He's also very impatient and irritable with me at times. He says it's because I don't give genuine and thoughtful responses and that I'm scatterbrained. I'm honestly at a loss for how to fix this because I feel like I've just been speaking naturally with him up until now. I asked him for examples of how he'd like me to reply, and the examples he gave were almost laughable because they're not far off from how I speak to him. I know that even if I said any of the things he said, he would still find an issue with it. I don't know how to deal with it because this has just been making me overthink what to say to him, and I end up saying nothing. Or something generic, which isn't what he wants at all. It kills me because while he's irritable with me, I know that he's friendly and chatty with other people. I don't know what they could possibly be saying that is leagues better than what I am. I asked him if it's because he's just bored of me, and he insists it isn't, but I have trouble believing him. I love my boyfriend a lot. He is thoughtful and family-oriented. He is driven and has high expectations for himself, which inspires me to be better. But he also brings out a lot of insecurities in me, and I don't know what to do about it. He says it's because he grew up in a very unaffectionate household, so he expresses his love through acts of service, such as wanting better for me and pushing me to be better. He calls it tough love, but I don't want tough love. I already want to be better. I have aspirations too. I will be graduating school soon and will be starting my career. I have plans for higher education and hobbies that I want to get back into once I don't have school weighing me down. I just want to feel cherished and respected, but currently, I do not feel like I am. Comment. You're not overly sensitive for not wanting to be negged by your BF. If he doesn't want to be with you then he should break it off instead of withdrawing affection and bullying you. 2 years together and he is shy to flirt, compliment, and show affection to his GF. That's quite sad. Has been pushing you to the gym, meanwhile never hypes your posts but is capable of hyping other women's. Which is freaking tiny to begin with. I have a hard time believing that his lack of PDA is the genuine truth. Sounds more of, unwarranted, embarrassment, a loss of love. In a healthy relationship, you need to be capable of adapting to your partner's preference in order to produce a fulfilling experience. Women don't want tough love. They want delicate love. Anyways, sounds like you could drop a whole lot of weight by dumping this fool. Be with someone who brings the best out of you, not someone who views your best effort as not enough. Next story 3. My good friend is struggling with motherhood and projecting onto me. As the title reads, my friend, she will be called Abby, has a 1.5-year-old child with her husband, we will call him Sam. Abby has no parents of her own and is currently at odds with Sam's mother and father. Naturally, this has placed stress on their marriage and left her feeling alone. Much of the child rearing has been left to her as Sam works long days to put food on the table. They also recently moved and are not close, geographically, to many of their friends, further isolating her/them. I and another female friend went camping with Sam and Abby and their son this weekend. I had been forthcoming with my struggles with my mental health the past 4 months but overall was not negative, just not as bubbly as I am normally and thus quiet overall. Abby made some comments at one point that crossed the line a bit for me. As such, I told our other female friend I would go for a walk privately and see them later so as to collect myself. When I returned, Abby, the child, and our other friend were gone, but Sam remained. Sam and I chatted and had a good heart-to-heart. Abby and the others returned about 40 minutes after, and Abby was livid. She began attacking Sam verbally and then turned on to me. She began to attack me, saying I'm a dark cloud, and made everything about me and turned this into a therapy session. I snapped back at one point and told her she was being a B*TCH and did nothing wrong by going for a walk by myself. I had to go for another walk at this point as I was in tears and felt defeated. When I came back, Abby did ask to go talk, but I was too emotionally exhausted at that point, so I went to bed. My question is, Abby and I need to have a talk. I want to be firm in establishing a boundary and telling her that attacking me and my mental health is not okay. How do I do this while still be empathetic and considerate of her own struggles? I feel strongly that Abby is projecting. Comment. When you're calling each other names, it's abusive and it's over. Someone could call me a name precisely once and that's it. Done. End the friendship and get some therapy. So what advice are you looking for? Seems you have something in mind. I'd just simply not be friends with you anymore. You just say exactly that, I love you and hate that things have been rough for you lately, and I was really hurt by the way you treated me. Personally, I think it's best to avoid talk of boundaries when what you're really talking about is what happened on the trip and, more generally, the emotional impacts of words and actions. I think you'll create more distance and hostility by framing this as you needing to assert your boundaries, rather than opening up to a close friend about how she hurt your feelings. If healing is the goal here, keep it simple, honest, and open. We all have stresses in our life. I was open with you and you have mocked and attacked me. Because I am your friend, I have allowed this. But I will no longer be your verbal punching bag. If you cannot respect this, maybe we should take some time apart to work on ourselves and our own issues.